Hey, hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here. Guys, this presentation has been a long time coming. I have been lurking around in your community for quite a bit, actually, ever since Heather and Corey let me in a while ago. Actually, I planned to do this presentation back in, I think, in February, but then I had a baby and I wanted to be around to help you guys afterward. And I was going on paternity leave, so waited for a little while. So anyways, it's been a long time coming. And I have to say, I'm just really blown away by your community. You guys have created something really special here. I never would have thought there'd be such a huge community of people that make cookies. It's so cool. And you guys encourage one another so well and support each other. It's lovely to see. You all are lovely people. And I just want to give a big thank you to Heather and Corey for letting me in and give me so many good ideas for this presentation. Thank you. I've been so educated about cookie businesses and stuff, but there's still a lot I don't know, so hopefully you guys can teach me. But anyway, let me tell you who I am. I am Ben. I am the community evangelist at YNAB Budget. I have been working there for quite a while, and I've been teaching people how to take control of their finances. YNAB Budget is YNAB for short. You probably have heard of us. I know Heather is a big YNABer, and I've seen a lot of you guys say that you use it, so that's really cool to see. So what is YNAB Budget? Well, our goal is to help people manage their finances and take control of their money in a simple and a joyful way. And to do that, we sell budgeting software. But YNAB is much more than just software. It's really a whole method, a whole system for managing your money. And that method is called the 4 rules. And the software is based on the method, not so much the other way around, right? So we're really an education company first. We teach people for free, and then we make money from the software. So that's who we are. So I'm going to show you guys how you can use the 4 rules to budget specifically for your cookie business. And then you can also use YNAB for your personal budgeting as well, as it is designed for that, but maybe we'll get into that another time. I'm mostly going to be talking about business today. And I did want to say, be sure to stick around until the very end of the presentation part, and then we'll have questions after that, because I'm going to hop on my little piano over here and sing a little song I wrote just for this community. So hang on till the end and you'll see that. All right. So hope you enjoy it. All right. Well, I'm going to just check the comments, see if there's anything. Heather says, Ash says, you should be our brother we never had. I really feel like that's true. Me and Ashley got along just so well. I don't know if you guys know Ashley, but it's the other miracle sister here. Yes, Tizzer He says, I was hoping the piano would be pulled out. Yes. Oh, and Corey says, we got to see your giant dog. You know, she was in here sleeping in the middle of the room, and my wife came and took her out right before the presentation. So maybe we can bring Bessie. I have a Great Dane who's gigantic, and so maybe I'll bring her by later if we can. Okay. Well, without further ado, let me introduce you to a very special person. Meet Connie, the cookier. Connie is a cookie baking machine. She works full-time in a day job, but she really wants to make the switch to become a full-time baker. The problem is she has no idea how to make that happen. And her overwhelming love for cookie supplies is getting in the way of everything. She feels like she can't say no, and her supply buying habits are really eating into all of her profits. So she feels like she can't really invest in the business and make that leap, right? And also she just doesn't have the information to figure out whether she can afford to make that leap, right? So for example, she wanted to go to CookieCon this year, but then she looked at her bank account and that said that would be a big no-no, right? So right now she's just kind of feeling a bit stuck. Yeah, and Heather says we are all Connie. that's the idea, right? So here's how budgeting is going to help Connie. It's going to answer a number of very pressing questions, like how much does it really cost to run this business? Not just what it costs to buy ingredients and things like that. What does it really cost in over the long run? How much money can I draw from this business to live on, but not so much that my business can't grow? When will I be able to tell that my business can sustain me full time? How much can I spend on cookie supplies, the stuff I love, while still saving for things that will grow my business in the long run, like education and new equipment, stuff like that? A budget is going to demystify all of that, and it's going to give Connie some badly needed clarity so she can finally get unstuck in her business. So Remember, I told you that the YNAB method is based on the 4 rules. So let's talk about what those rules are. And of course, let's start with the beginning. Very good place to start. Start with rule 1. Rule 1 is give every dollar a job. And that means every time Connie gets paid, she's going to ask herself, okay, what does this money need to do before I get paid again? And she's going to assign money to her budget accordingly. Now, the simplest way to give every dollar a job and is to kind of first make a plan for a typical month's budget, right? So she has kind of a framework for how she's going to make decisions about her money. And I'm going to do that by adding categories and targets to my budget. So I'm going to switch over to the software now a little bit. But like I said, this is a method for handling your money. So you don't necessarily have to use the software. You could do this in a spreadsheet. You could do it on pen and paper, whatever you want. Mostly I want to get you into those 4 rules, but we'll talk about that. All right, so here's Connie's budget. Look at this. As you can see, she's already added a bunch of categories. This is totally customizable. She can do whatever she wants. And she's already also gone through the categories, and she's created a target for each category. So a target is basically writing down how much money you think you need every month in a category. So it's how much you plan on putting into that category. It's kind of like a cash envelope, right? So you can see a few examples here. She's got her owner draw category, right? Because Connie has said she needs $3,000 to take out of the business every month for her to spend on her personal bills and expenses. That's her income from the business. And your income is an expense of the business, right? So it's here, it's here on her monthly expenses here on her business budget, right? She's also got categories for some of her regular expenses like packaging, baking supplies, all that good stuff, ingredients. Up until now, Connie's business has been mostly word of mouth, but since she's trying to grow it now, she's starting to see like maybe I should start getting into some proper fancy marketing, right? Like really going after it myself instead of just relying on her customers telling other people, which I'm sure it's a big part of growing a business. So she's decided to try dedicating some money just for marketing. And she wants to experiment with some Facebook ads, maybe bring some cookies to some local businesses in her town to get the word out. I don't know. There's lots of different ways you could do this. So let's create a marketing category here. All right. So to create a new category, just click on this little plus button here. And if I can spell marketing, there we go. Marketing, there we go. And I'll drag this down to the bottom here. And now I'm going to add a target. So this is how you add a target on a category. I'm going to create a marketing target for, let's say, $200 needed for spending every month by the end of the month. We're going to save that. And now I have a little note here. And I also, this little available amount here is turned yellow. And what that means is, okay, you said you wanted to put some money here, but you haven't put any money here yet. So it's just reminding you, hey, at some point when you have money, put some money here, right? So it's just a reminder that everything's good. Heather says here that kid's income is an expense of the business. Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it. It's just getting clarity about separating yourself from your business in a way, at least when it comes to like the finances. I think anyways, you're an employee of the business and you're also the owner of the business, right? So you pay yourself. Okay, so we've created a marketing category. We added a target. So that's how much Connie needs for her monthly expenses. Now, you are all going to have to forgive me. I know absolutely nothing about baking cookies. I have made cookies, not for a business. I have no idea how much it costs. I'm a budgeting teacher. I'm not a cookier like all of you. So I have to admit, I pulled a lot of these numbers just right out of my head, out of nothing, right? I did a little research sometimes, but mostly I have no idea. So please forgive me if these numbers are woefully inaccurate. They probably are. Hopefully the principles shine through, even if that's the case. All right, so that's monthly expenses, but you'll notice that I have a little separate group of categories right here for non-monthly expenses. And this is where YNAB really starts to shine. This is where rule 2 comes in. So let me switch over to that. Rule 2 is embrace your true expenses. See, true expenses are any bills or expenses that don't happen every month. And we call them true expenses because if you grab the average Joe off the street and say, what are your expenses? They'll probably just list their monthly expenses. And these are things you don't usually think about because they don't happen every month. They're not right in front of you and they don't feel as urgent, right? Sometimes they're really predictable. Sometimes it's like a yearly conference or maybe like a yearly software subscription or some kind of yearly bill. Sometimes they are very extremely unpredictable, like a broken oven, right? How many of you have been blindsided by a large unexpected expense like that? Just raise your hand if that's you, or let me know. It can really throw everything off, right? And sometimes maybe you've tried budgeting in the past and you're like, it doesn't work because I make a pretty plan and then everything gets blown up because something unexpected happens, right? What we're going to do with rule 2 is we're going to take those non-monthly expenses, we're going to embrace them. We're going to give them a little hug, right? We're going to say, this is actually important to me. This is a part of my life. And instead of kind of ignoring them or forgetting about them, I'm going to give them a hug, bring them into the family, and we're going to save every single month for these non-monthly things, right? I'm seeing, Corey says me, Kimberly raised a hand. I'm broken up. This other's laughing about that. Yeah, so this is stuff that freaks you out, right? So we're taking these big scary things and we're breaking them into smaller chunks, saving for them every single month. So when these things come up, we're ready for them. And we're going to have like kind of all these mini savings accounts. So when the oven breaks, we'll have money to fix it right away. And we don't have to go into credit card debt. We don't have to miss any orders and have any upset customers. No fuss, no stress. Okay. So Connie did some brainstorming and wrote out a bunch of non-monthly expenses that come up in her cookie business. I kept it simple, but there's probably a ton more that you guys could think of. And she set a target for how much she wants to set aside each month in each of these categories. Okay, so for example, there's equipment repairs, $100 a month. Replacing equipment too. So it's not just fixing the stuff, but you guys are running this equipment ragged, right? Because a lot of the stuff you're probably using, especially if you're just starting out, is meant for personal use for a family, and you guys are like running the oven every day, you're running the mixer every day, all day. So that stuff's going to run out. It's going to wear out a lot faster. So you might want to have a category for that. Cookie Con, put that on there for you guys. Oh, this was something I thought of that. I hope maybe this. I see a lot of people talking about refunds in the community. Like, oh, man, it seems like a really stressful part of the job, right? Because you have an upset customer, you're not sure if you should give a refund. Well, and plus it breaks into your bottom line, right? Well, I thought maybe it'd be cool just to have a category called refund fund or something like that you just set some money aside. You're just accepting this is a part of running a business. Set some money aside for refunds, and when you do need to give a refund, you can just give them a refund, and it doesn't have to upset everything else, right? I think that would be really helpful. Heather mentioned advent calendars. This was new for me. I was fascinated by this. I want some cookie advent calendars, and I know where to go to find it now. So you were talking about how there's like these seasonal opportunities that come up. And what you could do is you could save for ingredients and for all the supplies you need for those big things. And that way you don't have to like freak out when you have all these orders coming in and you don't have the money to make that happen. You can just save for it and then use it when you need it, right? Corey says not so fun fund. There you go. And then like a generic emergency fund too. So anything you didn't even think of, right? So these are all things that are just going to make life a lot easier for Connie. As she assigns money to these categories, they are going to build up like mini savings accounts. Okay, so for example, I'm going to commit a cardinal sin. I'm going to budget money I don't have just to show you this. Let's say she set aside $100 in the equipment repairs category here in June, like she planned. She has $100 there. If I click forward into July, you'll see that $100 has rolled over into the new month, and she can add another $100. Now there's $200, right? You see where this is going. We could add another $100. Now there's $300 in August. And so we're building that up. I'm going to undo this. And 6 months from now, she's got $600. The oven breaks down. I have an oven breakdown story I could tell you guys about. Anyways, her oven breaks down, she can pay for it, right? So no fuss. So that's kind of how that works laterally across months. Now, she also has one more category group, and this is like the really cool stuff. This is the stuff that's going to help Connie grow her business. She wants a mixer. I called it Big Girl Mixer because I thought that'd be fun. Education. She wants to go to cookie college. Eddie, this was fast. I love the name Eddie. Yeah, Heather and Corey told me about this, the edible printer. It's such a good name. I love it. I thought like you guys made up the name Eddie, and then I looked it up on Google, and I was like, oh no, that's like actually what it's called. I love that. And yeah, that's $3,000, right? So that's a lot. So like the mixer, as an example, it's $1,000. It always felt like completely out of reach, but she knew that this was going to be something that could save her tons of time, help her take on much bigger orders, right? But $1,000 felt like way too much money. But then she put it into YNAB and she put a target on it. We have a savings balance target by date. I said August 2023. So a little over a year from now, about 15 months. And if she does that, YNAB does the math and says, okay, you need to set aside $66 and some change every month, and you'll get that mixer. So all of a sudden, hey, that feels a lot more doable. That's like a dozen cookies, right? So we've created targets for all our categories, and we set a monthly amount for each of them. And here's where the budget really answers a really important question for Connie. She knows now the true cost of running her cookie business, right? Including money that she needs to take home personally, including money that she needs to build the business and invest in the business. That's the true cost of the business, all of these things together. If we look at this underfunded amount, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see. $5,896.67. Okay, so that is the total amount, just under $6,000 she needs to fund this business on a monthly basis. Okay, so then she can like back out and figure out how much work she needs to do. Let's say she sells her cookies for $60 a dozen. That's the top line. That's the revenue, right? That means she needs to make about 100 dozen cookies a month. Bam, she knows exactly how much she needs to work. And from here, she can scale up as she wants to, always understanding how much she needs. Okay, so let me zoom back out a little bit here so we can see more. Okay, I want to check in because I know that's a lot and we've been going for a while. Is this resonating with you guys? Do you understand how you can plan out your monthly and your non-monthly expenses using these categories and these targets? Just give me like a thumbs up or a yes in the comments if that makes sense. Liz says Ben knows his worth, 66 a dozen. I got that straight from Heather, I have to say. I mean, that's like $5 a cookie. You guys are making like fancy cookies, like really fancy cookies. Like they're worth that. It's a big deal. Yeah. Good. Corey says more digestible. Liz says yes. Evelyn says yes. Heather's thumbs up. Good. Okay. Okay, you're feeling good. Love it. Okay. Well, let's move on, and I'll be sure to answer questions at the end. I think I said when I practiced this, it was like half an hour. It'll probably be more longer when I'm actually doing it. So we have a lot of time for questions. Okay, so let's go back to the budget here. I wanted to not just talk about planning your expenses, right? I want to talk about how this actually applies to your life, because up until this point, it's kind of all been theoretical, right? I'm making a nice, pretty list of expenses, getting nice and organized. And actually, that feels really good. And honestly, for some of you guys, just doing that could be huge. Like it could be massively helpful for you. But let's take it a step further and let's actually take the theory and let's apply it to the real world. And the way we do that is we add an account. Yes, we're going to, the account is where the budget connects to our actual real life. Now, Connie has a separate business checking account that she uses to run her business. You can also add credit cards to YNAB and savings accounts and all sorts of stuff. But just to keep it simple for today, I'm just going to do that I'm just going to add a checking account right now. Okay, so let's do the checking account. You can link your account to your bank if you want to or not, whatever you want to do, it's fine. Checking. And we'll just call this business checking, very official. And let's say right now in that account, she has $3,500. Okay, so that starting balance on that account is categorized as ready to assign. So that's the category. And it's an inflow of $3,500. So we can see that money appears right up at the top of the budget. It's nice and green. $3,500 is how much she has available to assign to her categories right now. And now, because we have that money, anytime we get money, we're going to follow rule 1, right? So let's review what rule 1 is. Give every dollar a job, right? So let's start assigning this money that is in our checking account right now to the categories. And we're going to do that by just prioritizing. We're going to decide what needs money now, what needs money later, because we don't have enough to fully fund the entire month, do we? So $3,000 for the owner draw, that's about everything. I'm just going to put aside $1,500 right now. And when I get paid more from customers later in this month, I'll add to that. But the packaging, let's go ahead and take care of that. Ingredients, $1,000 for that. Let's just take care of the whole month if we can. $100, $20 for some software, transportation, and some marketing, the new initiative. Very exciting. Okay, so that's going to take care of non-monthly for now. So why don't we go ahead and take this 220 and why don't we hop down here to the non-monthly things and let's set some money aside for the equipment. We got $120 left. Let's put 120 here to replace equipment. And that is where we're going to stop. We have actually assigned all of our money. A huge part of Rule 1 and a huge part of the YNAB method is to only assign money that we actually have right now. That way, when I look at these available amounts, when I go to like buy ingredients, I can look at that available amount there and I can know that that $1,000 represents real money that I actually have in my real life bank account. And that means Connie can trust this budget. She can use it to guide her spending. So every time Connie gets paid, she's going to go through this process again and assign her money to the categories. Now, Connie has assigned her money, but she needs to track her expenses now and her income right here in YNAB. And this is where the rubber really meets the road, right? Because this is where we really apply this. So let's say Connie goes to the store and buys some ingredients. Okay, so let's add a checking account here. Or we've already added our checking account. So let's go to the checking account. Let's go to Payee, grocery store. And the category is going to be ingredients. And let's say she spent $250 at the store today. That transaction there, let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see better. So category ingredients, outflow of $250. So you can see how this has now affected the budget. Let's look back at the budget. I have negative $250 in the activity, and I have $750 left for ingredients for the month. So every time you're about to spend money, check your budget, see how much you have, and then record the spending. And that's how you let your budget guide your spending. Because if Connie wants to buy some baking supplies later on, or if she needs to buy some ingredients later on, she can look at this category and see how much more she can afford. And that's going to answer the big question she has about how much she can spend on day-to-day supplies, but still have enough to grow her business, right? I do see some questions. I'll be sure to get to them in just a second. Okay, now I'm very excited to talk about this. Let's talk about Rule 3. Rule 3 is my personal favorite rule, which is why I use my favorite color for the background, a nice light purple, lavender. Actually, I think this is wisteria, technically. Anyways, Rule 3 is my favorite. Roll with the punches. Rule 3 acknowledges a very simple fact. You cannot see everything coming. You don't have a crystal ball. And also, you're not a robot, right? I think a lot of people are worried that if they get a budget, it's going to make them super rigid and kind of lame, right? But you can change your budget. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to overspend. And sometimes something unexpected is going to come up and you just didn't plan for that. Sometimes your priorities are going to change, right? When that happens, you do not need to feel guilty. You don't need to beat yourself up. You just need a framework for dealing with it. And YNAB is going to give you that framework. When we overspend or when our priorities change, it is okay to change your budget. It's actually the smart thing to do. So you are in charge. You're in the driver's seat here. You should not feel bad about making changes. Have I made myself clear? It's okay to change your budget. So let me add a transaction so we can show you some overspending and what that looks like. I actually switched over to my phone here so you can see, because we do have a lovely mobile app as well, so you can see that. So let's say, okay, so Connie, I'm embodying Connie here. She overspends on cooking supplies a lot. Okay, so let's say that she does that, because that's what she does. And let's say she went on a spending spree. She spent $120 on some new cookie cutters and colors. And I'm sure you guys could list all the other things you can buy. So let's add a transaction here, $120. Okay, choose a payee. And let's say she bought that on Amazon. Choose a category. And the category is baking supplies. There we go. All right, so we'll save that transaction. And we get this little animation here. And you'll see right away, okay, YNAB's telling me the truth. I did overspend in that category, and it's showing me a negative red number. So cue the beating yourself up and feeling bad, right? No. We're not doing that. We are going to deal with this right now. We're going to deal with it, and then we're just going to be able to move right on. So how do we deal with this? Well, the way we deal with this is by moving money from another category and changing our budget. Because the truth is, because we only budgeted money we have, because we're doing a zero-sum game here, right? That $20 is actually coming from somewhere else in the budget. And until I fix that overspending, I can't really trust this budget because it's not really accurate, right? It's not showing me real information. So let's cover this right away. We're going to decide where that's coming from. I'm going to click on this overspent categories banner, baking supplies, and this will show me a list of all the categories that have money in it right now. And there's a few other ways to do this. I think I'm actually going to take it from marketing because maybe maybe I overshot that a little bit. I'm still just experimenting with the Facebook ads or whatever I'm doing. So I think I'm good. I'm going to take money from there. The money moves and we're right back on track. Okay, so no harm. It's okay to change your budget. Say it with me. It's okay to change your budget. Put it in the chat. That's a big thing. Okay, now let's talk about rule 4, and then I'll show you a few more things in the software, and then we'll get to the song and some questions. Okay, so rule 4 is age your money. Aging your money is all about getting ahead on your finances. It's about increasing the amount of time between when you receive money and when you spend it. We want to budget money into the future as much as we can, so we have more and more breathing room, more and more space. So we're not living so close to the financial edge. So when something happens, we have time to think and time to plan, right? So let me show you just a little taste of what that looks like. All right, so let's switch over to the app here. Let's say Connie's having like a banger month. She's doing super well. Sales are up. She's feeling great. Also, a few weeks ago, Connie did a really big job for a wedding. I actually saw somebody talking about this today. They like went out of their comfort zone and they did a big job for a wedding, and they felt like it helped them so much to like push the boundaries. That was cool to see. So she did that, and she just got paid for that job. So let me add an income transaction so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so let's add a transaction just like we did with the grocery store. We're going to add income just like we added spending. Okay, now if you are running a cookie business, you have a lot of customers, right? And you're probably going to be paid. You're not going to be paid all at once like this, right? Normally, you'll add a lot of different transactions as they happen. But just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to add one big income transaction to represent all the payments that she's received for the month. And ready to assign is the category, just like that starting balance. Big difference here. This is not outflow. This is inflow because money's coming in. Yes, happy. All right. $3,500. There it is. Okay. Now, if we look at the budget, just like when we first added that account, we have $3,500 available, ready to assign. Now, Connie can follow rule 1 again. Give those dollars a job. So let's start assigning money. We could do it one by one like I did, but what we could do, because we set those targets, you could make this happen super quick. Let's just hit this underfunded button right here and assign money. And boom, it's just going to stick the money everywhere in my budget. Look at all that green. It's so lovely. Very nice. And maybe I want to set aside some money for that Eddie. I see a lot of people in the chat saying, I want an Eddie. So let's say, okay, I need $3,000. I just said like eventually. I didn't put a date on it, so YNAB doesn't know how much I wanted to put there. Let's say, okay, I'm going to put $100 there. Just get that started, right? I still have almost $1,000. This is where rule 4 comes in. Maybe I could put more money to that Eddie or something else, or I could start getting ahead a little bit and maybe give myself some peace of mind. Let's click forward to July. We're in the middle of June here, but we can budget ahead in July. And let's set aside some money for packaging. And let's put the rest of that money to ingredients. Okay, that's feeling really good. Okay, so before the month has even begun, because of that big job, Connie's starting to get ahead. Before that month has even begun, I've set money aside for some of my expenses in July. They're already taken care of, even before the month begins. Eventually, if Connie keeps following rule 4 and assigning money into the future, she could get to a place where she can fund next month with money that she made in the current month. And then she could like stay perpetually 1 month ahead, right? Does that make sense? Think of the peace of mind that would bring. You have a whole month's of finances, a whole bunch of bills and expenses, even future things, all just set aside and ready to go even before that month begins. It's a fantastic place to be. That's the goal of Rule 4. Okay, so that is actually all I have for you guys today. I hope you can see how much starting a budget is really going to help Connie. She's going to have a clear picture of how much it costs to run her business. She's going to know how much she can spend on a regular expenses while still investing in the future of her business. And she's going to have clarity on what she can jump into or when she can jump into her business full time down the road. Okay. Awesome. I see a lot of comments. Let me know your questions though. And while you guys are thinking, maybe I'll hop over on the piano and sing you a little song. But I just wanted to say one more thing before I do that. I just really want you guys to try this. I really want you guys to give this a shot. Either give this method a shot, do it on a spreadsheet. I really, guys, I don't care. I don't get paid any more or less if you guys do this. I'm serious. So like, just go and do it on a spreadsheet if you're not going to do the software, but give the software a try. It's free for 34 days. You know, it's all built around this, so it's easy. Give it a try, see if it helps you. I just want you guys to budget really, because you guys are doing something that's so important. Like, don't let anybody like poo-poo you guys or saying like, oh, your job's not important. It's huge. You're marking important moments in people's lives with something memorable and something really special and tasty, right? It's important work, and I don't want any of you guys to stop doing that just because of something as lame and dumb as money and cash flow, right? I want this for you. So try it out. Give the software a try. See if it helps. And if you like the method and you don't want to do the software, try it on a spreadsheet or pen and paper, whatever you want to do. No poo-poo, says Corey. Corey says, yes, do I see 34 days? 34 days free, guys. Most people only do 2 weeks or like 1 week. We do 34 days. We want you to have like a month and a few days. So because I want you to see like what happens when the month rolls over. That's kind of the idea. Okay. All right. Lots of comments and questions, but I'm going to sing you a song first. So let me just transition here a little bit. Oh, okay. I need to take my headphones off because I'm coming over here. Okay, here's my song. I wrote a little ditty for you guys. It's short. Don't get too excited. Hopefully you guys can hear that okay. It's in the key of D. Here we go. I'm a sugar cookie entrepreneur. What could be sweeter than the wonderful allure of confection creators? My spread spreads joy all day, but money always seems to get in the way. Well, with a budget, it doesn't have to. There you go. There's your song. Hope you enjoyed that. All right, let me get to some questions because I would love to see what you guys have for me here. I'm going to scroll up to the top and get some that I missed. Oh my gosh, so many comments. This is great. You guys are so sweet. Okay, yeah, giant dog. Maybe I'll grab her in a second. A jingle. Yes, Corey, I didn't tell you about the jingle. There you go. hope you liked that. Okay. I'm just looking through. Yes, people talking about taxes. Yeah, my understanding. Okay, I am not a tax professional. Let me just put that out there. Disclaimer. I don't know about taxes, but my understanding, if you're a sole proprietor, the only thing you need to pay taxes on is the owner draw, what you take and bring into your personal income. So when you bring that into your personal budget, you'd want to set money aside for taxes, and you pay taxes on that. Heather says, moment of silence for the advent rush of 2020. Oh boy, I want to hear about that. That sounds like it must have been crazy. Okay, Jessica has a question. Is there a way to account for money that has come into the account for future revenue? Oh, interesting. Okay. I have people paying me for orders in August and September. How do we account for that? Okay, there's a few ways you could do this. Actually, there's quite a few ways. I'm seeing like maybe you want to like save that money and just like hang out with it for a bit and not spend it. I mean, what you could do ultimately, I think probably the easiest way is just whenever you get income, add it and then set money aside for that, right? But you could even create like a non-monthly, like future orders category, right? And maybe like set the money, like park the money there. And then when you are ready to buy ingredients for it, like maybe it's like a special order, like it's a big order, right? And it's not something that you would normally, it's not like your normal flow, right? I'm sure probably how your business works, maybe I'm sure it's quite variable, I would imagine, but you probably have like a baseline, and then you have these big orders that come in. So maybe if you want to set money aside for that, and then when you actually buy the ingredients, you could grab that money, move it up here to the ingredients category, and take it from there. That's probably what I would do. There's some other things you can do too, like you can flag a category or a transaction like this. You could say, okay, I'm going to flag this one red because that's like a special transaction that I want to keep track of. And then you could search red and just that transaction would come up. Actually, we need to do flag red and that would come up, right? So there's lots of ways you could like manipulate the transactions. I think that would help. But also another thing you could do is you could literally say, okay, I got this money for a future order. I'm going to be spending that money in July, right? So maybe you go forward in July and you just set the money there, right? That way you don't even have it in your budget right now. You don't even think about it. So yeah, there's a few different ways you could do that. And once you get into it, I think you can find your own creative solution as well. Oh, okay. I think I totally misunderstood, Jessica. You said future revenue, but I think you mean like, um, okay, so it's not like money you're getting now. I took that to mean like money that I'm getting now, like a deposit, for a big job or something like that. But you meant like money that's coming in the future. Yeah. Rebecca had a good answer there. You said you can schedule future transactions. That means on a future date, the money will come into your account, to your budget. You cannot budget future money. Yes, that is true. Yeah. So you can add a scheduled transaction. I'll show that. So let's say customer is going to give me like $4,000. I don't know. That seems like a lot, but I don't know how this I don't know how this works on a future date. So I'm going to put this forward. Let's say I'm expecting that in August, right? So let's put that. So what happens if you have a future transaction? It's here in scheduled transactions, right? So I can see it, but it's not actually going to affect the budget until it actually comes. Because what we're doing here, it's kind of like cash envelopes, but it's digital. That's what we're doing, right? So if you do, it's sometimes called cash stuffing these days. You ever do like, you take envelopes and you put cash in it, right? That's what we're doing here, but we're doing it digitally, so you don't have to like actually deal with cash and deal with that, right? So if you're budgeting that way, you take all your money, you put it on the kitchen table, you grab an envelope that says groceries and an envelope that says electric bill and stuff like that, and you put physical cash into that, and then when you run out of money on the table, that's when you stop, because you literally don't have any cash, you don't have any more money to work with, right? And so that's why we only budget money we have, because what we're doing is a cash envelope system. It provides a huge amount of clarity about what we actually have to spend right now, and we don't actually budget with money that we don't actually have. Good question. Okay, I should probably go a little faster. Oh, Corey, love this question. You said, do you think it's worth investing in YNAB if you're brand spanking new? I mean, yes, I think so, because here's the sneaky thing, guys. YNAB is not just for business. In fact, it's really designed for personal budgeting. So we're called You Need a Budget, right? Everybody needs a budget. So I think you should go ahead and go for it right now, even if it's just for your personal budgeting, but also for your business. Now, I actually created another budget file. You can have multiple budget files with one account. So open a budget. I have Connie's personal budget right here. Okay, so this is Connie's personal budget, right? So you can run your personal budget here, and then you can switch to the other budget. And now I got Connie's business budget, right? So you can have multiple budgets in the same account, and that way you can do both. And if you were, in this scenario, Connie has a separate account, a separate business account, and if you have a separate business account, you should run a separate budget for it. But if you are brand spanking new, like Corey said, you might be running everything through your personal checking account. Now, I would highly suggest, if you are getting serious about this and you're going to do this for a long time, get a separate account, because it just makes things for taxes, it just makes things way easier and it just makes things nice and clean. But if you're running through your personal account, you would do that through your personal budget, and you could just create a category group for your business stuff, and have categories in there. You just run that down, right, in the separate category group. And that's how I would handle it if you have those accounts together. All right, we're getting into some of the later questions now. Let's see. I see a lot of people saying for sure. I love it. Corey says my husband would love to know where it'd be going. Yeah, that's good. Love it. I love that you like the song. Thank you guys. I'm just catching up on these comments here. Next season podcast theme song. There you go. I need to listen to y'all's podcast. I haven't listened. I should listen. Sounds like really fun. Okay, Liz says, are there tutorials online on how to set everything up? I just want to make sure because budgeting is not intuitive for me. You're not alone, Liz. It's not intuitive for a lot of people. And yes, we have. I mean, I told you we're a teaching company first, so we have. Oh man, we got some stuff for you. So I'm just going to go to YNAB.com and show you our site a little bit. Right here where it says get started, we have lots of ways to help you out. We got videos, we got written tutorials. We actually have live Q&As. So if you want to talk to a teacher like me and do this kind of thing, what we're doing right now, you can jump in. We have all sorts of let me fix yeah, we got like all sorts of times for you to jump in and just like talk to a teacher for an hour. And those are pretty small usually, like usually like 10, 20 people at the most. So you'll get your question answered for sure. Also, we have a fantastic YouTube. Let me just hop on over to our YouTube channel if I can find it. Here we go. And there's a playlist here. Oh, that's loud. All right. There's a playlist here for getting started. It's called Start Here. Set up your budget, right? So this is where it would be. Now, most of these tutorials are going to be geared toward personal budgeting, but you can apply everything to business budgeting as well. All right, so check that out. Maybe I'll pop this playlist. So loud. Okay, I'm gonna put this play. You probably can't hear that, but it started playing in my ears, and I'm like, oh gosh, so loud. There you go. I'm gonna put that over for you guys there. Yes, Michelle, you said I came in late. Is Uni Budget a one-time fee or monthly or yearly? It's monthly or yearly. So after 34 days, let me get to our pricing page. Slash pricing. There you go. All right. So after 34 days, it's $98.99 a year or $14.99 a month if you want to go the monthly route. And I know some of you guys are like, it's a little weird, right? To like pay for a budgeting app, right? Am I actually saving money here? Like, am I paying money to save money? It's something that comes up a lot, right? And I just want to tell you guys, I promise you it's worth it. I have been using YNAB for, oh gosh, how long? 9 years now, and I could never, ever go back. And actually, here's a value prop right here. This is based on surveys. On average, new folks save $600 in the first 2 months. $6,000 in the first year, and that's a huge return on investment just monetarily. But honestly, the peace of mind that you're going to get is way more valuable. So try it out. It's free for 34 days. So if you want to try it out, maybe you're like, I could do this on a spreadsheet. That'd be fine too. Yeah, Corey asked if do we offer classes taught by BenB? I sadly do not teach the live Q&As. Very much anymore because I'm more like doing this kind of thing and also other stuff. If you want to see me though, if you want to see more of like me, this I don't know. I feel very arrogant saying this, but if you want to see more of me, I do have a show on the YouTube called Budget Nerds. Here we go, Budget Nerds with Ben and Ernie. Me and Ernie. It's more like a podcast, really. We just shoot the breeze and we talk about budgeting stuff. But we have like 50 episodes, I think, going. So they're like an hour long, some of them. So yeah, we talk a lot. But Ernie, who's on there, he is in the live Q&As on our page right here. And also a bunch of other fantastic teachers. So you can always jump in. Michelle says, how many categories can we have? You can have as many as you like. I've seen people with like hundreds of categories. Try to keep it simple. The more categories you add, the more complex it gets and the more difficult it is to manage. But you can have as much as you like. It's totally customizable, however you want. Lots of giggling on the pod. I love it. I'm sure that's true. Yes, Liz says, can we have separate budgets under one personal account? Hopefully answered that question for you. Yeah, you can have as many budget files as you like. Maybe you want to do personal budgeting, you're budgeting with a partner, or even if you have like a roommate, we just say like household use. So like anybody in your household, you can use the same budget. Okay. Corey says the subscription pays for folks like BenB. Yes, please pay my salary. Songwriter and money saving explainer. My job is weird. I love it. I mean, I feel like all of us have weird jobs, right? Like, I mean, like Corey, you're running a cookie marketing group with 30,000 people. It's so lively and awesome. I mean, who would have thought, you know? And all these people are making cookies for a living. How lovely is that, right? Love to see it. I see other nice things too from Laura. Been using YNAB for 5 years. Love it so much. YNAB changed our life, says Jesse. A monthly or yearly for the price of 10 months, as per cookie college rules and regulations. Exactly. Okay, well, I think I've gotten to all the questions. If you guys have more, I'll be around in the community because I mean Corey and Heather let me in, so I'm just hanging out. So if you guys want to ask more questions, just type it on over in the comments and I'll be there. Maybe I could even pop in and do something else if you guys are interested. Okay, a few more questions coming in. How many accounts per membership? You can have as many budget files as you like with one YNAB account. So unlimited there. As far as like profiles, we don't have separate profiles under one account. You just need, if you wanted to share it with somebody else, you just need to share your login with them. But we are working on a system for separate profiles, so that could be a thing in the future. We're doing weird things, leading the weird peoples. Yes, weird, weird. Oh yeah, Avis wants me to click the reports tab. I will. Let me click that. Okay, there's nothing to show here because we have like no spending in this budget. Let me go to a different budget that actually has some spending. This one, I got so many budget files here because I'm teaching all sorts of different random things. This one's pretty old. Here we go. Budget with history. This is what I was looking for. I think this one, yeah, it's pretty old, but I'm going to go back to February with these reports. Okay, here's the spending report. Isn't it pretty? We got like a little pie chart going here. We got total spending, we got average spending. We can drill in and go to the bills. We can see a list of things. I can like say, okay, what's going on with my eating out budget, right? And I can look at a trend over time of what that looks like. So yeah, lots of pretty reports. Net worth report shows how things have been going over time. So you can see that. That's just like your net worth, like your money you have minus anything you owe. And then this is like the real nerdy spreadsheet kind of stuff, the income versus expense report. So got a few different reports you can see there. Same thing on mobile. We don't have all those reports on mobile. Let me switch over to there real quick. We do have a net worth report here and an age of money report, which I didn't talk a whole lot about, but maybe I'll let that be a tease for you guys. If you want to learn more about that metric, you can look it up. Yeah, Kimberly says, so you could add your teens profile to this at some point. Yes, we hope so. I don't want to say too much because software development is hard and sometimes things don't come to fruition that we work on, but we do have a whole team working on a thing called YNAB Together, where you can have multiple profiles and you can like have permissions for your budgets. Okay, I probably already said too much, but yeah, that's something that we're working on right now. Hoping it comes out sometime this year. I'm not actually sure yet, but that'll be really cool when it does because a lot of people have been wanting that for a while. Because yeah, people will do that. You know, their whole families, they get their teenagers on the budget. They get, you know, maybe you have separate finances with a partner and you want to separate your budgets. You can do anything you want. I've even seen somebody like managing finances for like an older loved one who needs help managing their finances, and they bring their budget in there. So lots of different reasons why you need multiple budgets and maybe multiple profiles. Hopefully working on that profile thing will come out soon. Okay, I think I got to all the questions here, and I think I'm getting close to an hour, so I might go ahead and end it there. But once again, you all have been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this has been really helpful, and I hope that we can talk more in the future. Until then, I'll say happy budgeting to everybody, and I'll see y'all around. Thanks so much.